Hey everyone, I'm Tracy Hazen. I am your professor for your Speech 131 online course. And what we're going to be doing in this video is going over just a basic rundown of the course, going over the welcome letter, going over the syllabus, and just looking at the structure of the course. So we'll go ahead and get started. So what you see behind me is how your course is going to be set up. Your course is set up in what are called modules. And I'm going to go ahead and put this in student view so it looks more similar to what you guys are seeing instead of how it looks on the instructor end. Okay, so over here on the right hand side, you're going to see what is coming up for due dates. And then you'll see in the middle are the modules, and that's how it's going to be set up in weekly modules, but also informational modules, which you'll see. And then over here, you see kind of quick links to get to certain things like assignments, discussions, grades, Flipgrid. I'll actually take that out because you're not going to be using Flipgrid modules, and all students have access to Zoom now. All right, so when you log on, you're going to see the Start Here module. And in the Start Here module is obviously cleverly labeled where you want to start. You're going to find things like grading, the syllabus, how to contact me, policies, but what's really important, the syllabus and the welcome letter. So hopefully you have clicked here, and that is where you found this video. And we are going to go over this welcome letter. So welcome to Speech 131 Online. And this contains a lot of the policies and how the class runs. So this is really important to read on your own time, but really important to watch the next couple minutes of this video. So welcome to Speech 131, Fundamentals of Communication. To be clear, this is a fully online course. This means our content and presentations will all be done fully online. I do have office hours available, which I'll show you in the contact information, and it's also in the syllabus. So you can come to campus and see me, or I do have also online office hours. Your class will officially start Monday, August 16th, 2021. You are expected to log into class using Eagle that day to get acclimated with the course. If you are unfamiliar with Eagle or this is your first online class, you definitely want to take the first week since it's pretty limited in what is expected of you to navigate around Eagle. Click links, go into all the different modules, and just familiarize yourself with the course content. So for this course, you will be recording all of your speeches using YouTube. So you're going to need to create your own YouTube account, and you can do that since YouTube, you need a Gmail account, I believe, and your Rock Valley student email is a Gmail. So why you're going to be using YouTube is you're going to be giving me the URL to your speech. You're going to mark your speech as unlisted, and the reason that we mark it as unlisted is because it eliminates any privacy issues on your end. So because when you mark a speech unlisted or a video unlisted, that means that the only people that get to view that video are those that have, those that have the link. So yourself and me, and then once the semester is over, you can go ahead and you can delete that. If you mark it private, I can't see it. And if you don't mark it anything, then everyone's going to be able to see it. So unlisted, only people with the links, me and you, are going to be the only people that are going to see it. And then you can click this hyperlink here and you can follow the directions on how to do that. Some of you might already know how to do that, but for those of you that don't, make sure you click those directions right there. In addition to using YouTube, you may need to use Zoom for your informative and your persuasive speeches. This depends on your abilities to project your visual aid component of the assignment, which you'll find out more about in number 6. So you can use Zoom, or you can actually use Screencast, which is what I'm using right now. But I'll show you options down below in number 6. So when presenting your speeches, we need to follow a few rules. For informative and persuasive speeches, I ask that you dress in a business casual, business professional way. This is for a couple reasons. One, it's going to build your credibility as a speaker. 2, it is going to make you feel more confident as a speaker. Studies show that if we dress up in a professional manner, we are going to exude confidence. So confidence is going to come through, and that is only going to be to your benefit as a speaker. Here's a dress code for you. You will be standing if able-bodied, and you're not going to be hiding behind a podium. So make sure when you practice that you are in an open space, because you're not going to be giving the speech from behind a desk or from behind a couch or sitting down. You are going to be standing in an open space if able-bodied, and you're going to be presenting your speech. Because if we hide behind something or we sit, I know I'm sitting right now, but it's not realistic to the public speaking experience. So this is stated in the assignment directions, but please remember you are only allowed to use 2 5x8 note cards, front and back. No speaking from outline notes or from a manuscript or from a computer screen or a phone. You're only allowed those 2 5x8 note cards. No editing your speeches. This has become such a problem since COVID, and doing these online courses more and more and more, is students are editing their speeches. You cannot edit. It's a one take type of deal. And if I see any edits, I'm going to ask you to re-record it. So since we are taking the speech in a global pandemic, you do not have to have an audience. However, you do have to have a camera that is positioned well enough for me to see and hear you while you're standing. So if you need to, ask a family member or friend who's vaccinated to help you out. The informative and the persuasive speeches require that you have a visual aid. So it's important for you to be able to use your visual aid during the speech. So this is that number 6 that I was talking about earlier. So this means you need to find a way to present this while speaking. So keep in mind that visual aids are typically PowerPoints, or if you're doing a how-to speech, they're tangible objects. So when PowerPoints are used, or any presentation software, you must be able to project that to me in a way that I can see, because I'm your audience. So here are a couple ways, 4 different ways. Follow the directions by projecting it onto your TV screen. Okay, that's an option. So hooking your laptop up to like one of your TVs in your house, because sometimes if you just set your laptop next to you, it's so hard. I can't see the little laptop screen on the computer. Zoom is a second option if to ensure that your audience can see, and you're going to follow these directions. You can also follow directions here on how to show slides in your background. So these 2 and 3 are options for Zoom that you'll need to read through, or this video that was made by Rock Valley specifically for our speech students. This is really helpful, and I believe it's a way for you guys to show screencast like I'm doing right now. Okay, I'm using a webcam, but I'm also projecting what is on my screen. All right, so make sure you figure out what's going to work for you. And again, that's just for informative and the persuasive speeches. But number 6 has to do with figuring out how to project your visual aid to me. All right, so some class information to know. Your textbook, when you signed up for this course, we did a first day option, and part of your tuition money went to paying for your textbook. So you already have your textbook. The only thing that you will need to know if you don't already have it is your access code, I believe. But if you click on any of these hyperlinks within Eagle, it's going to take you to the text. And you should be able to just walk yourself right through registration. And I'll show you where that information is when I click back and out of this welcome letter. Required materials, again, the note cards. Late work, no late work on quizzes. I will accept late work on small, like writing assignments, discussions, things like that. But it's going to be with a 20% deduction. And then if you're late on speeches, it's a 30% deduction. And I'm also, by the time you read this on your own, I'm just noticing, if you were late on speeches, this bolded part right here, besides the 30%, but this bolded part right here, I'm going to delete that because that does not apply to you. So I apologize if you read this before watching it. I'm going to go ahead and delete that out of there because that was for my students who are meeting in person. So ignore that, but the 30% is still true. All right, so this welcome letter is an extension of the syllabus, which you will find here in the Start Here module. There's my phone number for my office. That's where my office is located. And but again, the easiest way to get a hold of me is by emailing me over Eagle. You are likely to get a very quick response. So email me using Eagle. All right, so I'm going to go back to the home. All right, You'll find the grading scale here, how to get a hold of me with my office hours. Email policy just reminds you to act like an adult when you are communicating with me. Just be professional over email. And this is the syllabus. I will go ahead and click and open this up. Even though we went over most of the policies you really need to be familiar with in the welcome letter. But again, take time to really go over in more detail on your own time. There's my office hours, 9:15 to 10:30, Monday and Wednesday, Friday online from 10 a.m. to 11:40. This is a fully online course. This is how the student learning outcomes of Rock Valley College meet this course. How you guys are going to be assessed. You have 3 individual speeches that you need to complete in order to pass the course. Your introductory, your informative, and your persuasive. If you choose not to do those speeches, you choose not to pass the class. That is not only my rule, a department rule, a Rock Valley rule, it is a state requirement from IAI requirement that you do those in order to pass this course. You'll have a midterm and a final, and you'll be giving or turning in outlines and little discussions here and there with course content. All right, we went over that policy in the welcome letter. This section right here just kind of goes over what computer skills you should have in order to be in an online course. You need to know how to attach things, open emails, send emails, just little things that are important to have in your syllabus. Here's the information on late policy. Again, it's a 30% deduction on speeches, 20% on other assignments. Here's information about withdrawing from the course. It's a student-initiated withdrawal, so you need to be the one responsible for withdrawing yourself from the course if you would like to. And here are the dates that you need to go by. Let's see. Evaluation challenges. If for some reason you find that you want to talk with me about an evaluate or a grade that you received, that's totally fine. Just wait 48 hours, read the constructive criticism, and then come and talk to me. Kind of let it sink in, and then come and speak with me. But honestly, I've had this policy for 13 years, and it's never been an issue, ever. Tutoring. To schedule free tutoring services, please stop by the Success Center. There's a number that you can call. We still have that available even during the pandemic. Let's see. Electronic device policy won't be a problem since I won't see you guys, but we still need to put it in our syllabus. My thoughts about this course. Countless studies have shown that a fear of public speaking ranks up there with the fear of death. I know that it's a phobia. I know some students would rather be at their own funeral than having to give a speech, which is unfortunate, but I understand what it's like to have anxiety. I am someone who has a generalized anxiety disorder. So I understand that panic. I understand that fear. I understand the anxiety of being in this course. I was 17 or younger once. It's hard to believe, but when I took this course, and I remember that panic, that feeling of having to speak in front of people that I didn't know. But we've come a long way, haven't we? And here I am teaching this course, and I made communication my discipline, and I took the advice of my instructor, Joel, and I practiced and I perfected it, and I found out that I really enjoyed it. And I think part of the reason that I enjoyed it was that I came from a theater background. But it's different. There's a difference between a stage audience and a public speaking audience. The nerves are even different. But I think it helped a tad. Having that in me, but it was still very different. The fear and the anxiety that I felt were not the same. But I practiced and I treated it like a sport, and I got better at it from where I started to where I ended, because I ended up competing competitively in public speaking when I was in college. So while I was, the normal public speaking student as a freshman, I just practiced and got better and kind of realized I was good at it, and I took that skill and I went further with it in college. So everybody's story is different, but practice is what I will tell everybody, no matter what your story is. But I also will tell you that I understand that anxiety. So with that being said, I want to tell you that I'm trying to make this course as painless as possible for you, but I also want you to leave here with some new skills and some newfound confidence. So I believe that communication is a universal force, and it must be understood in order to achieve any goal in today's competitive world. You have to have it and know how to use it in order to be successful in your academics, in your personal life, and your professional life. It is the number one skill that employers are looking for. So hopefully you will learn some ways to be competent in your communication, which means to be effective, and it means to be appropriate in whatever setting that you are thrown into. Speech is a process and is learned through perfected through increased knowledge of the subject, understanding yourself as a speaker, analyzing your audience, so knowing who you're talking to, but most importantly, like I rambled on a couple minutes ago, it's about practicing. Speech is like a sport. Anything you want to get better at, you treat it like a sport. Cooking, baking, singing, robotics, yoga, typing. The more you do it, the easier it gets, the better you get at it, and you have to think of speech like that too. If you want to be better at speech, or even if you don't want to be better at speech and you say, I just want to get through this course and be done, fine, that's cool. I get that. But if you want it to be an enjoyable experience where you have low levels of anxiety, practice. All right. So below here in these next 2 pages, you will find what determines your final grade, which is always tentative because things can change. In a normal semester, I don't consider anything in a pandemic normal, but since we're online, I don't see it altering too much. And this is the schedule, but you will find a much more detailed schedule on Eagle in the module. So I'm going to go ahead and close that out. All right. So go through the Start Here module on your own. Helpful tools in personal wellness. Go through this. It talks about where you can get services on the campus for mental wellness. It tells you that I'm a PACE and a Safe Zone trainer here on campus, so consider me a safe space for everybody. Eagle's Nest Food Pantry. If you feel like if you need personal items or you need food, Rock Valley has those services for you. And also online resources, quick access. If you have any questions that you think could be answered quickly, click on that and we'll provide you links. All right. Academics, you can go through this. It gives you a link to Purdue OWL because you're going to have to do works cited. In this class, you can do MLA or APA. My discipline, I always taught APA. I know Rock Valley teaches MLA, so I make it up to you completely what you want to do as long as it is formatted. You can go ahead and click those links to make sure you're doing it correctly. All right, so for your textbook, you want to click this module. You want to watch the registration video first, and it's going to show you how to do it. But this link right here is a link to the entire textbook, and if you go through the other modules, I'm having a hard time speaking today, I apologize, you can see these quiz links or the chapter links, and if you click those will also take you to the textbook. All right, so if you go through this, you will notice that it is set up in weekly modules, week 1 through week 16, and dates that correspond with your semester, fall, spring will be next to it. You can see for this one it is fall, but if you are in spring, these dates will look a little bit different. But you can scroll down, and I want you to, again, just kind of weave your way in and out of here to see if it makes sense to you. And then email me with any questions. You will notice the weeks that have exclamation points are the weeks you have a speech due. And it takes 2 weeks to do speeches, so you get a little bit of a break, because I used to have a speech due in just 1 week and then give another assignment, but we don't need to do that. So we're going to have speeches due in 2 weeks. So some of you will have a speech that is due in week 5, and some of you will have a speech that is due in week 6. And that is just kind of a randomized way of assigning those due dates. So you will see, you might notice that some are due in week 5, some are due in week 6, some are due in week 10, some are due in week 11. That's how it's done in a face-to-face class. That's how it's done in a hybrid class. So that is how it is going to be done in a online class as well. So if you have any questions, go ahead and email me. Meet with me on Zoom, meet with me in my office, and that's it. I will see you guys soon. I'm looking forward to having a really great semester, and that's it.